Cancers, welcome to my channel. This is going to be a look at what the next 72-hour window has in store for you. Of course, any information that you may be looking for to book a personal reading with me will be listed in the description box. And if at any point you want to see my lives in the future or my videos, make sure you hit the notification bell and whatnot. We're going to start with the actual spread, and then we'll go into the oracle cards towards the end. Okay. So first card we're going to get into, Cancers, we have the Nine of Swords. So the next 72 hours is centered around facing your doubts or certain fears that you may have. And whether or not they're rooted in like genuine fears that are like based in reality, or just certain fears where we're projecting what we don't want to happen and it's just scaring the crap out of us. Also, the Nine of Swords does talk about like paranoia, us being on edge and maybe expecting certain things to happen out of the blue where maybe good things are going on for us. So some of you, great things are starting to take form. There may be a new relationship that you're in, and you could have certain doubts around whether or not this person genuinely has your best interest long term, whether or not they're, dealing with you from the intentions of trying to get, certain things from you and not really meaning you well. Or for others of you, you could be starting something new within your career and the anxiety of messing it up, or messing the opportunity, or not messing the opportunity up, the anxiety of whether or not this is an opportunity that's temporary may be overcoming you. So this week is about addressing where is that coming from, and is this rooted in just fear or reality? Now, going into career and finance, I have the Eight of Pentacles. So you could be focused on just doing your job. If you are currently looking for a job, you could be securing one, especially based off of your skills. Like if you are very skilled in a field that you're applying for, or you show that you have certain like customer service skills, knowledge, that could be to your advantage when it comes to getting a new job. The Eight of Pentacles also talks about, like, for my Cancers who already have a job, there being some sort of either hard work that's being acknowledged, promotion. Some of you may even be questioning if your job is worth the amount of effort that you pour in or the amount of time you dedicate to it, especially if you feel like you're not being appreciated. I see that being a big focal point. Now, going into love, we have the Knight of Wands representing that. Or not Knight of Wands, Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles talks about a slow but steady process of building or rebuilding something. So in the case of love, you could be trying to build a new relationship with someone, but taking your sweet time in regards to this. Not necessarily trying to rush, not trying to necessarily jump into a relationship tomorrow. And the process of getting to know them could be like very slow and steady. For others of you, you could be trying to repair a relationship that you've already been in, an existing connection, an existing relationship, where this is not an overnight process, especially if we're talking about rebuilding trust, rebuilding consistency around communication, all of those things. That is not an overnight process. And you could be realizing that. Some of you may be dealing with a Virgo, Gemini, or not Gemini, excuse me, Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus. Clarifying the Knight of Pentacles, we have the Three of Swords. Yeah, if you've been let down before, you're not rushing to jump the gun on things, especially with a newer connection. And if you're trying to rebuild a relationship with someone and you've been hurt by them, this may not be the time where you're just throwing yourself out the window when it comes to dealing with this person and just going out on a whim, believing what they say. Now, the advice for this time frame with the Two of Swords, it's important that you allow the answers to naturally come to you. When we're in the Two of Swords, we have the answers that we need to proceed. We just feel like we need more and more and more in order for us to feel safe enough to move. Only problem with that is you could be not seeing any progress or not getting any more insight because you're waiting for those answers to come, when action and decisiveness is the only thing that's going to give you that insight. So the advice is to not wait for, life itself to catch up for you to feel safe enough to do the things that need to be done, or making certain decisions or moves for yourself that need to be made. Also, if you're dealing with somebody and they keep you in the dark, they keep you guessing, they keep you conflicted, confused, and on edge, you do need to consider if it's worth it for you to be mentally entangling yourself with this person. Now, the advice, we do have the High Priestess, or not the advice, the challenge. The challenge is the High Priestess. So the challenge during the 72-hour window, it could be a Pisces specifically, doesn't have to be, but this could be someone who, like the back of your hand, and you could sense that something's off, but you just don't know what it is. Like, the challenging thing is you could feel like something's energetically off, but there may not be any proof. And it's distinguishing between doubt or worry or intuition that could be challenging. So you may have to, really sit with yourself to kind of silence the doubt and the fear to kind of hear your intuition. Another challenge may be like keeping certain things secret. You could be working on certain things that you're really excited about, and you may not want to tell certain people. And it may be challenging because you may, still in the same breath do want to tell people. You just don't want your plans to be ruined. For others of you, you could feel like someone's keeping a secret from you, where it's like, I know you're not telling me something. Now, outcome card, we have the Page of Pentacles. So the outcome of this time frame, Cancers, there's a Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo of significance, somebody who you could have a friends or benefits connection with, or someone who could just be a friend, or someone you see potential in. I do see them having some sort of significance. You guys could be talking about, where the relationship is going, where do you guys potentially see things going. I'm also seeing that an apology could be offered to you, or you can extend an apology to someone. The Page of Pentacles also talks about like brainstorming and also seeing the potential of making a business idea or a financial idea, career path, a true reality. So you could be doing your research, doing the necessary work to invest your money so that you can grow your money, or grow just financially. Now, let's go ahead and look into the messages from your spiritual team. So we have mountains, which represents obstacles. And we have fence, which represents boundaries. So let's start here. The message from your spiritual team with the boundaries card. I always use this analogy with a house. A house is a lot like us, in the sense where if you don't have the proper boundaries in place, anybody can walk in. So, of course, you don't want to have so many perimeters where it's hard for anybody to come in, where you have like a steel gate that's super, super high, higher than the house, and it's an electric gate too, and then you got 20 alarm. You don't want it to be outrageous like that, but you do want to have a proper set of boundaries in place to where you can filter out people who don't mean you good, and filter out people who just aren't in alignment with your energy. And there's nothing wrong with that. And also, if you've been setting certain boundaries and you've been getting pushback from certain individuals around you, know that that is natural to happen. People don't like when they can't take advantage of the boundaries that you have in place, especially if they benefited from you not having them beforehand. And with mountains representing obstacles, this just talks about you having a slight detour in your path. This doesn't necessarily mean that with obstacles that you've been faced with that you should give up. So if there is something you're working on and you've been like on the brink of saying, you know, I'm done, I'm about to throw the towel away, remember the why as to why you started. And also being able to distinguish between what obstacles are worth fighting through and which ones are like maybe clear signs to redirect. But this is what I see. I hope this was helpful and did give you insight. If you did take something from this video, definitely feel free to thumbs it up and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one.